Nation. Here with Coach Christner as we preview the 2016 season. Coach, early February games to get the year going, but obviously getting ready for the transition over to the Heart. So I guess first off, let's recap last year. Obviously, a difficult season. Couldn't get everything coming together at the same time at times. But let's just recap that, and then we'll get into talking about next year or this year. Excuse me.
We had our ups or downs. Last year we played real good against top 20 teams and then couldn't maintain it throughout the year.
Sure.
So never did get to our full potential. Never did get to where we should have been.
Right. Talking about the recruiting process and the off season and stuff. Looks like you guys have brought in a slew of new talent and everything. So raring to go. I know you talked about the hitting. You feel like that's definitely improved. Fielding's better. So just talk about, I guess, recruiting just really in general terms.
Recruiting wise, we only have 12 returners back from last year. Brought in a lot of freshmen, a lot of talented young ladies, some junior college kids that'll fill in nicely with spots, and I think overall we'll be a lot better overall than we were last year.
Definitely. Alrighty, let's just get right into it. You always start with pitching. I know that's where you feel like you guys are going to have to figure it out a little bit as the year goes along. Might be a work in progress, but break that down for us and then go from there.
We brought in a pitcher from Illinois Valley. She's a number 2 there. Was 10-3 last year. Liz Whitaker. Throws 60, 61. Great head on her shoulders. Has really performed well here in the early spring or early off season.
Sure. And
is looking pretty good. She's her own worst enemy.
Right.
She's too critical of herself sometimes, but good.
Yeah.
And then we brought Paige McGuell back from last year, who was our number 3 last year, is moving up to number 2. She's worked and worked, so I look for a good year out of her. She at least competes.
Sure.
And then 3, 4, 5, you're going to have Cheyenne Coco. You're going to have Tabitha Scott, a freshman, coming in. Olivia Nichols is going to be in there. So that number 3 spot's wide open.
Right.
And then you've also got Shelby Allender, who's been fighting injuries all year. Could have maybe throw a little bit too. She's from Mount Pleasant, Iowa.
Right, definitely. The receiving end of the battery, catching position.
Catchers, we've got a returner in Chelsea Heron. Brought in a new catcher out of Grossmont Community College, Kayla Browning, who will be seeing a lot of time. And backing those 2 up will be Jared Jensen from Eddyville, Jaylene Ovalis, Sabrina Bryant, 2 freshmen. That'll round out pretty much catching.
Right, definitely. First base and then around the horn there.
First base will return starter from last year with Taylor Vernon, be a sophomore. And then her back as a freshman come in, Haley Freestone, who's done a nice job, looked good in in the fall, and then backed up by Abby Montgomery.
Sure. With Taylor, I mean, you got she was a freshman, stepped in about midway through, I guess before midway through the season last year, and really picked it up quickly and stepped into a big role there. Feel like she's ready to take it to the next level now that she's got a year under her belt. She
struggled a little this fall, but now she's coming back on looking good here the last couple of weeks. So it's just one of them she just needs to get going and get back into it.
Right, and like you said, you've got some players behind her that can will push her as well. Second base.
Second base is a kid that actually played shortstop last year at her junior college at Pierce Community College in Washington, the state of Washington. Tricia Bonifacio. Good little player, great hands. Probably turns 2 as quick as any second baseman I've ever had. Okay. Very steady. Behind her, you got a bunch of freshmen. Diamond Rios, who was injured all last year, tore a knee. You've got McKenna Van Veen. That'd be backing her up also.
Sure.
And Jackie Hernandez from Texas is another freshman backing her up. So.
Right. I know you're real excited about shortstop, so.
Shortstop, we got a young lady freshman out of state of Washington again, Brianne Robertson, very talented, has some mechanical things to work on, but very athletic and very talented. Look for big things out of her. Can't expect a lot of the freshmen. They're going to have some mistakes, and we're going to live through it, but long range. Might be the first time we've had a true shortstop in a long time.
Definitely.
Maybe since 07.
Yeah, sure. Backing her up?
Right now, backing her up would be Trish Bonifacio, also Paige McGuell plays a little bit there, and the kid from Comanche, Jordan Neeson, was our freshman. So
Sure. You got the hot corner.
we returned our all-conference player, Marissa Pareda.
Yep.
Then you got Brooklyn Bance, who started shortstop last year,
Sure.
moved back to her normal position after
Right.
helping us out. You got Gabby Braniff, who's a junior now. Look for big things out of Gabby. Her swing's coming on, and she's really getting into the swing of our program and that.
Right.
Then you also have Amy Matson from the state of Washington, and then Liz Whitaker, our #1 pitcher, will also be backing up there a little bit.
Sure. So a lot of depth there. I guess you'd have to figure somebody's, if they're not starting, maybe move into the designated player position, get them in the lineup somewhere.
Gabby will probably be in the DP spot to
Right.
begin with.
Sure.
She'll have first spot at that, and
Right.
just go from there.
Yeah, makes sense. Sure. Left to right field.
Our outfield is totally brand new
Right.
after losing 2 starters, except for Cheyenne Coco will either be in center field or right field. Haven't decided that yet.
Sure.
Left field will probably be another state of Washington kid, Molly Lamont, coming out of Pierce Community College. Backing her up is going to be Katie Meek or a host of others.
Right.
Center field, you've got Coco or Chelsea Griffiths from Ottumwa, junior college transfer from Indian Hills. Cody Johnson, another junior college transfer out of California, is in there. And in right field, you're going to have C. Velasquez, which is a senior returner, or Coco. Depends what we do out there.
Sure. Definitely.
And Jordan Neeson, the backup shortstop, also filling in the outfield.
Sure. Sure. So a lot of depth in every position, and a lot of, obviously, youth, and not per se so much inexperience, because you do have a lot of junior college players coming in. But I guess talk about the fact you have so many new kids. I mean, that tends to be the case. I mean, every year you're going to have new players, and they've got to mix it up with the returners and stuff. But this year, especially, there's a lot of new players. Is that going to be something that the first few games everybody's got to figure it out and figure out how to play together?
It'll take a while to gel. It's going to take them a while to understand the way we play the
Sure,
game.
right.
We're not come out as ball busters, but I think
Right.
by the end of the season we'll be very, very good.
Yeah.
I got a determined group. I got a very great attitude, great effort so far this year. So, I mean, it'll take a while to get them going.
Right.
But there's a lot of talent there, so that's what you always build for the end of the year anyway. So
Sure.
we may struggle early just to find ourselves, find
Right.
themselves. But once we get going, we'll be a pretty solid bunch.
Sure. Like we had mentioned, you guys are already playing this weekend, which is a little early than normal, but obviously you've got an opportunity to play a team down in Arkansas. You play Lyon on Friday and Saturday, so then you have that, and then you have to go down to Fort Worth, Texas next weekend for the Cowtown Classic. Some solid programs down there. Talk about, I guess, the reasoning behind scheduling so early.
The reason behind scheduling so early is you could go to a dome and play, but that's not reality.
Sure, exactly.
And I'm going to miss the same amount of class, and I got the opportunity to go down and play outside.
Right, yeah.
And looking at the weather, it's supposed to be 50,
Sure.
51,
Sure.
sunny, no wind. That's nice weather to play in
Oh, that's
for
perfect,
us.
yeah.
And then a week later, we go to Texas, Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah.
Bunch of big teams from that part of the state
Sure.
and country we have never seen. We
Right.
don't see that group.
Exactly.
So it's kind of getting out, getting a little feet wet, getting in, play some different teams.
Right.
But mainly because I don't want to go to a dome where it's not reality.
Sure. No, totally makes sense. And then you guys end up going, back down to Tucson. The normal spring break trip. 10 or whatever games it is, during that week, and get in right to the season right after that. Talk about the rest of, I guess, the non-conference slate and.
Seeing a bunch of northern teams down south.
Sure.
And then we play Ashford.
Right.
Their last season.
Right.
That's still from the old conference.
Yep.
Playing Mount Mercy from the old conference, which will be in the new
Right.
conference.
Yep.
Playing our normal Olivet Nazarene, St.
St.
Xavier,
Max,
back and forth, which is always great competition. Enjoy that series.
Yeah.
And then I think it's into conference.
Yeah, and then conference-wise, again, brand new conference, so, we've played a bunch of those teams in the past. We know what Central Methodist is. They're going to be, the team to beat this year, and then everybody else kind of falls in behind them. Grandview, won our conference last year, picked a little ahead of us. We're kind of picked in the middle of the conference, so I guess let's talk about what the expectations are coming into this conference, where we think we can fall in, and how tough this conference actually is.
Well, Central Methodist finished 5th in the nation
Right.
last year, and he returns his pitching staff. They're always solid.
Yeah.
Pat does a great job. Grandview has everybody back from last year except for 2, and those 2 were not significant contributors.
Sure.
So he's loaded.
Yes, sir.
So they'll be right there fighting for the conference champ. And below that, we're all pretty much the same.
Sure.
I'll be honest, I'll be disappointed if we're not 3rd or 4th.
Sure.
If our kids get going. We have that talent, it's if we can get a play out of them.
Right. The rest of the conference, every team has probably been, has talked about this as the year goes along, in this first year in the HAC, and how does the HAC compare, the hard compare to, what we had with MCC?
It's the same. Every conference has a top half, you all have a middle, and you all have the bottom half.
Sure.
So it's all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You'll have three or four teams consistently at the top. You'll have, out of 12, you have 3 or 4 teams consistently in the middle.
Sure.
And you have 4 teams that are at the bottom. And
Right.
it's just like any other conference.
Sure.
And the talent level of the teams are exactly that.
Right. And obviously with the bigger conference, though, there will be 2 bids available, which, obviously makes, you don't have to just win the conference title. I mean, let's see if you can, steal the second bid as well. So opens it up for a little more competition in case, one of the top 2 teams is running away with it. You still have a chance to still make postseason, make nationals and everything. So, again, wrap it up in a nice little bow there, Coach. You said that, this team's going to have to figure it out as the year goes along, but what's going to be the key to making it all work in the
Key's
end?
going to be how well our pitching steps up.
Sure.
We got some kids that can hit the ball. We got some kids that can play defense. It's going to be how quick and how long our pitchers come along and adjust to this level,
Right.
coming out of the JUCO ranks,
Sure.
and freshman and high school ranks. So
Sure.
it's going to be how long they can pick it up and how long we get them up to grade.
There you go. And first home game, I think, is about the 20th, 21st-ish range. 19th, I think.
Against
19th
Graceland, opening up
of March.
the heart right out of the shoe right here at home.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks, Coach, for sitting down for a little bit. Best of luck this season. We'll be following you as it goes. So, all right.
Thanks, Wade.